Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Welcome home, family.
Welcome home, baby.
It's your mom and dad. Hello. Family, your mom and dad are feeling it today.
Yeah. We are hungover.
The mid-30s have hit. They have hit hard, my friends.
This is the look of 2 beers.
This is the look of 2 drinks and staying up till 2 in the morning. That's what this is.
It don't do it like it used to, I'll tell you that much. The pain is real. The pain
is so
effective.
real. We're recording this. Truth be told, we're recording this Monday night after watching Charity's second episode. Oh my God, it was so good. But we're recording this Monday night. So last night, we had a big night.
Yeah, we did. It was fun. Well, you did. I didn't. I just drank and hung out. Ate sliders.
It was so much fun. So for those of you who don't know, Katie Thurston had a roast for her half birthday and had a bunch of comedians there, and it was in San Diego, and she was so generous to offer me a spot as a non-comedian, as a person who has never once done any bit of stand-up comedy. In fact, I was just getting flashbacks because I remember like 2 years ago, Michael Yo being like, I'm going to make you do 5 minutes at the top, a tight 5, right, Lee? We were just talking about a tight 5 at the top of one of my sets. And I'm like, Michael, I can't and I won't.
Yeah.
But Katie believed in me and I love her for it. And she did me the honor of letting me do it. And it was so much fun. I don't know. You tell me how it went.
Dude. First of all, she was the only non-comedian, which was wild. So like there was probably, I don't know, 10 comedians maybe.
Crushing. And they were crushing.
And they were all like comedians. They're all people who do this all year long. And Jess has never done 10 seconds on stage. And truth be told, she went up, she crushed.
Wait, can I watch this? Can we watch this somewhere?
I don't know. They said they filmed it.
They might have
They said they might have filmed it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
If we can get it, we can show it. But I don't know.
I'm not sure if we're allowed to with the comedy club restrictions. I'm not sure.
See.
I don't know. I don't know the ways of the comedy world. Maybe.
We'll show Lee, and then he'll give you like a real take. But I will say, everyone laughed super hard. I was nervous. I'll be honest. I wasn't nervous at first, but then when I saw that every single person was like a legitimate comedian and doing well, I was like, oh, this could, I had heard the jokes, so I knew she had practiced. I knew they were good, but then at the same time, you just never know. And she went up, every single one crushed. People couldn't believe she hadn't done comedy before.
This is so nice.
You know what I mean? Like it was real deal. And I'm not like, I would come in here if it wasn't like, it was good for someone who tried, you know what I mean? Then it would have been like, she did an amazing job. She had great charisma. No, this was just legitimate. The jokes were funny. Everyone laughed. She killed it. And if you were there that night, if you're listening now, I believe that you could absolutely reiterate what I'm saying.
Well, I love that Evan was like, I was so nervous because the whole time he was like, I'm not nervous for you at all. And I'm like, okay, thank you. As I'm like having a panic attack backstage.
I wasn't nervous at all. And then she walked to the mic and then I felt the nerves.
Well, I was literally physically shaking when I got to the mic. My hands were shaking and I'm like, oh no. Luckily there was a podium so I could kind of put my hands somewhere, because if there wasn't, I'm like, the flutters would have been quite clear. But I had so much fun. I so appreciate your kind words, but I have to tell you, the only reason that I feel like I did an okay job was because the crowd, the people who bought tickets were I just need anyone who's listening right now who was there. I love you so much. Thank you so much, because everyone was so generous with me and cheering me on, and it meant everything to me. So because everyone was so supportive, I was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we met so many people who were so amazing, who have listened to Chatty Broads, who listened to your mom and dad, and shout out to all of you, because I literally had tears in my eyes having conversations with some of the Broad Squad, some of the members of the family. amazing people just sharing the kindest things ever. And I just got to hug people and say hello, and it meant everything. And then afterwards, some people joined us at a local San Diego bar. And that is why, listen, I wasn't really drinking before the set because I was so nervous. But then once I was done, I felt sweet relief. And I'm like, oh, it's time to party.
Yeah.
So party we did until the wee hours.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the deal. Like, we had a blast. And
So
once
much
we went to
fun.
that bar afterwards, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I definitely wasted some people's money because they would like hand me a drink. And I would be like, thank you so. And then I would do like the thing where I like hide it behind the chair or something to make it look like I had been drinking it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, you just know yourself and you're like, I'm old now. Like, if I keep going down this road,
Dad
like,
can't handle
it is
it.
going to be a problem.
No,
you know what I mean?
I respect that.
And then
I
we
did.
knew
So I
we were
had
going
like
to
a whole- I
record
had-
today. So we
Yeah.
were like, we're already hungover enough. I'm like, if we would have had more.
It would have been a problem. And I had like a collection of shots and drinks just like around the corner that I had not touched. And I've been like, oh, thank you so much for that. And I was like, I couldn't do it.
He had a full lineup of shots that he was just
They were
putting
just
to the side that he
behind.
was like, nope.
No.
plans.
Yeah, seriously. But we had so much fun.
It was so much fun. So thank you everyone who was so supportive and came out, and to those members of the family and Broad Squad who were so wonderful and kind. And to Katie, I adore you. She is so talented and funny. And if you have the opportunity to see her do, and also a massive special shout out to Dave Neal.
Yeah, Dave Neal crushed.
Dave Neal crushed, but Dave Neal also was the one who he met with me and went over my jokes and helped me rework stuff and encouraged me and helped show me the ways as much as he could.
Yeah.
And it really helped me a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dave. We love you.
Absolutely. And do you have anything to say to me?
Thank you for your help as well.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for your help. Evan
And
also helped
anything
me.
you want to say to me right
Evan
now?
also helped me. And thank you for your
I
moral
had
support.
a couple tweaks that,
You
you know,
did.
nothing big, but just, you know, I came in, just a couple shaves, you know, a couple small tweaks to the wording. You know what I mean? That's my thing.
So
I just come in and I just do little tweaks. You know
So
what I
are
mean?
you saying that we're going to see you do stand up soon?
I'm saying I'm responsible for all your success in stand-up. That's what I'm saying. I'm the ghostwriter. No, Jess killed it. Like, she wrote the jokes. That's the thing that I don't really know how to do, and like is like so fascinating to me how even Jess does it.
Well,
Is
I don't
just
know how to write
but
them
just
either.
the writing of the jokes. Like, she just would come in with like a complete joke with like an idea and a storyline concept and then like a tagline to it and
She's
all this
being
stuff.
way
And I was
too
just like,
flattering.
I honestly have no idea how you do that. Like, I have no clue. Like,
My-
I'm good at coming in and being like, well, what if you then just reverse those two words and made it like that? It's like, oh, cool, little tweaks. But the idea of coming up with original joke concepts, I don't think there's any way I
I'll
could do
just say shout out to stand-up comedians because I'm a huge stand-up fan, and after doing that last night,
Oh, it's
my respect is so
insane.
massive. Like, the talent, it takes so much courage, all
Yes,
of that.
it really
And then
does.
also the fact that Katie just let us just roast her.
That was
Love
sick.
that. What a queen.
Yes,
What
it
a
was
queen.
it was a really fun.
So maybe I'll, start doing this every once in a while.
Jess has her Netflix special coming out, which is really exciting.
I think
If
that
you had a special, what would you call it? The Room.
The Room is good.
The Room would be good.
Cold Bones.
Cold
Ooh,
Bones.
my
That's a
bones.
great
Cold
one.
Bones. Bones is cold.
Bones is cold. Just so no one has any idea what the hell it means.
I recently had a pretty life-changing experience a few days ago. I'm a huge fan of crows, like a massive crow fan. And I finally had a moment where a crow came over to me and we interacted, and I was able to like feed it, and it came up almost to like, I did not touch it, but I could have, and he was basically eating out of the palm of my hand.
Wow.
He came and visited me the next day. I feel like I have a crow friend, and so I've been calling it my crowment.
Yeah.
So I might be talking, maybe name it my crowment, because it was just it was a huge moment in my life.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that's a tangent, but it was just I needed to share it because it was a huge moment for me because I'm such a fan of crows.
You're such a crow mom.
I'm such a crow.
Yeah, no, but
mom.
now the whole family will love you generationally.
Well, that's the thing about crows is they
interesting.
remember your face.
Yeah.
They'll bring you I think the crow's probably going to start bringing me things.
They'll attack your enemies.
Yeah. I'm going to have a crow
Nothing would
army.
be cooler than like if you had a really bad person who did something really bad to you, and you could just like assemble the crow army
A full
and
crow
send them
squad?
to their house to poop all over their house or to like peck at their car or something like that, and they wake up and they're like, "What happened?" And it's like, "Oh, the crows came by on behalf of mother.
Jessica sent you.
Yeah, mother crow, human crow,
Mother crow.
the human crow.
I was thinking more of like the beautiful emotional bond, but sure, maybe my enemies as well.
I do like a dark twist. Like they're loyal. They're like they'll do anything for Mother Crow.
They'll do anything for Mother Crow.
you
Thank you, my babies.
you kind of look like a crow right now. You're all in
I
black.
do kind of look like a crow. I'm channeling it,
You're
baby.
already kind of.
God, I love that crow. I've named him Clarence. I don't know if he likes
Clarence
that or
is
not,
sweet.
but
It's a
Clarence
good
the crow.
crow name.
He kind of does a little head. He does his little question head at me, and it's so cute. God, I just want to talk about that crow.
Crowman.
My
Yeah, she
crowman.
called me and she was just like, she talked my ear off about this crow situation. And you know when you're like running around and you're really busy, and I was kind of like, I had Ember and I was running around, I was packing stuff, and she called me like, "What's up, babe?" And she's like, "I just gotta tell you, I had the most incredible moment with a crow in the backyard." And I'm sitting here going like, "What? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. It's crazy. So crows, I don't know if you knew this, and I'm going like, babe, I love you so much, but like, I gotta go right now.
No, I'm so here for the crow talk.
No, I know. It's so funny.
I'm obsessed with the crows. And guess what happened? Mr. Hater over here showed up at the house a few hours later. And who was waiting for you? Clarence was waiting. He came back.
Is he cool with you though?
Well, no, I mean, he wasn't like
He
coming
flew
for
away
me.
when Evan got closer to him. He flew away, but when Mama came back, he came.
Okay, my roommate's dog, I love her so much, but she always barks at the crows.
Sure, and you're like,
And
stop scaring away
no,
my...
and I'm like, no, like we're cool. It's like she's not into you, but like
crows, I
please, like don't hate
apologize.
me because they can hold a grudge.
That's the thing.
They can love you for generations, but they can also like hate you for generations.
Babes, they hold grudges. They use tools. They are unbelievable. They bring gifts. They are incredible creatures.
Incredible.
God, I love crows.
God, you love crows.
I love crows.
I love crows so
you
much.
crow freaks.
Definitely top 5 favorite animal for sure.
It's interesting because there wasn't there a guy on Instagram who had like a crow pet? That was pretty amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was something like the crow was injured and then he helped rehabilitate the crow, and now the crow wants to be with him all the time. Wow, incredible. But it's still a wild creature and goes about the wilderness, then comes back.
I will say though, the crow is kind of like, there's a heaviness to the crow. There is a depth to their character. It's not like a parrot or something that's just like interesting and does a trick.
No.
It's like you're like, what are they thinking? There's a dark side to them. There's a light side to them.
A crow brings
like any
emotion.
interesting main character, there is a depth.
Yeah. They have a storyline for sure.
They have a storyline. They're dealing with stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe that's why I love them so much.
Yeah, you see
those
yourself
eyes.
in them.
Maybe a little bit.
You're like, all of a sudden I'm in the backyard, or I'm like getting coffee in the morning. All I hear is like, and I'm like, oh, the crow's in the back, and it's just Jess like screaming into the sky to have them return, and she's just taking crow calling classes and like.
I'm just saying you'll
crow
thank
whistles.
me. I was just saying you'll thank me one day. Okay, I have to say this before we dive in.
All right,
but
let's dive in.
to what we are here to do today.
Yes.
But Lee, Evan made so much fun of me. It was so rude. We were on a little date the other day, a little coffee date when we had a moment. And I just, I guess out of nowhere was like, what are your top 3 favorite animals? And he
I almost fell out of my chair, dude.
He's like, what are my top 3 favorite animals? And I'm like, yeah.
I was like, is our conversations this bad now? That's where you need to ask me stuff like this.
All of a sudden I was like, you know what? I'm like, we love animals. We talk about animals all the time, but I don't think I know his top 3 favorite animals. And so I was really curious, and I thought it would bring on really exciting conversation. More than anything, I wanted to share my top 3.
Yeah, that was the thing. She didn't want to know mine at all. She wanted to share hers because she knew I would have been like this. I don't know. What are yours? Oh, that's funny you ask. And then off we go. Crow, crow, crow.
But now I want to know. I want to know Evan's top 3. I want to know your top 3.
She's like, crows, big crows, small crows, and, North American crows. I don't know.
Lee, to answer your question, I have a hard time with the top 3. I think I have to do top 4.
I was going to say top 5 is easier. Top 3 is so hard.
I'm going to go, I can give you top 4. We have capybara, manatee, sea otter, specifically, and a crow. Those are my favorite.
There
Evan
you-
really couldn't answer me, which I felt like was
Did
a
I-
red flag.
I was like,
Do you have favorite animals? Lee?
Oh man, capybara is up there. I think number one, frog. Love
frog's
a great
good.
I
one.
know, crow.
Yes, my crow king.
Dogs and cats, obviously.
I
They're
mean,
top
they're just
four,
wonderful.
Of course.
Maybe dog, cat, frog, crow. Capybara number 5 though, but like it's a high 5.
It's
That's a wonderful list. Evan, you love an orangutan.
I love an orangutan.
Oh, yeah.
I love an orangutan because there's nothing. I think that's probably why you like crows, which is like they're close to us. There's like a lot of intelligence there. And there's also like a weird connection to where you're looking at them and you're like, they're definitely
Well,
not.
we feel close on the evolutionary.
Right.
Whatever.
And when I look at orangutan, like for me, it's like orangutan is specifically because, first of all, they don't look like real animals. They look like people that are in costume.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like either
Because
everything
they,
about
they are us.
right, but
It's
their
wild.
hair and like the way their bodies are, it just looks like someone's in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the way they move, those are the ones that blow my minds.
I mean, truly incredible.
And absolutely
God,
incredible.
I love nature and animals. When I'm hungover, it's one of the times when I'll cry. I guess I've been talking about how much I've been crying this year. I never used to be a crier. But when I feel a little hungover and I see any animal video, it is game over. I'm just sobbing.
Yeah.
But
You've cried a couple times today.
I have cried a couple times today. I definitely cried numerous times during Charity's episode. Evan
Yeah.
looked over at me and I just have tears pouring down my face.
Yeah. And Jess does this thing that when she doesn't get a reaction that she likes, she'll just do it again. So like today she got chills.
Watching Charity's episode.
Watching. And so she shows me that chills. And I go, oh yeah. I go like that. And then she did it like 2 seconds later. And she's like, look, I got chills again. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's crazy.
Because
And then she
I
did
needed
it like
you.
2 more times, like 4 chills moments, just to like get me to be like, hey man, be like, holy shit, you got chills. You know what I mean? And like,
Because the episode was that good.
No, it's
I
a
was
good
getting
combo.
chills.
It's like
You know
it's
what
not
I'm
just
saying?
one chill. It's like 4 chills.
I was getting
4 chills, but then I could clearly, I'm hungover too, and she wasn't getting like a reaction to the chills that she wanted. So she kept bringing up the chills.
the chills were rolling 24/7 during this
Lots of
episode
chills.
because Charity is just so good already. Like episode 2,
Yeah.
I'll be real with you. It is pretty much known, I feel like, amongst the lands that episodes 2 and 3 can be a little slow.
Snoresville.
During
okay.
The Bachelor and Bachelorette, because there's still a lot of people and it can sometimes just not give you what you want.
Sure.
And this second episode gave us everything.
So good.
And it was so phenomenal. And then we got a preview for episode 3 and it looks so dramatic and exciting.
Yes.
So yeah, there were chills 24/7 on my body.
And I just want to be the first one to apologize for not giving you chill adoration.
Thank you. I need my chill
Because
adoration.
You should have been acknowledged. Your chills should have been acknowledged much more intensely than they were, and I apologize for that.
Thank you. I appreciate your apology.
Should we get into this?
Yes.
Speaking of chills.
Speaking of chills, okay, before we dive in,
Oh, yeah.
just wanted to say we did have a hiccup in booking that was
Mm-hmm.
out of our control. So unfortunately, we do not have a second episode coming this week. We apologize for that. But we will be having a second episode next
Yes.
week. So next week we'll have our second episode and be back on track. Again, booking hiccup out of our control, and we apologize. But yes, so there's that. So this is the one and only this week. So
Yes.
enjoy it.
So
And
strap in.
So
You're getting
strap
hungover,
in,
mom
baby.
and dad, growly voice and all.
And again, you will get your 2 episodes next
Yes.
week. We'll be back to those 2. And then before we officially dive into the second episode, I have to talk about another moment that I got chills. Dave Neal actually captured it on camera because I was with Dave and Tasha at the moment and their cute dog Boone.
Oh, yeah.
Charity Lawson,
Oh, yeah.
the Bachelorette, did us the most high honor and joy of shouting out the podcast, shouting out the family on her Instagram stories.
Yes.
Evan texted me and was like, go look at Charity stories right now. And I opened it up and I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was maybe like a moment of like, oh, did she release some tea or
Yeah,
drama?
no.
Oh, no, baby.
She just tagged us and went off on like how much she enjoys the show and how much she appreciates it and how we think the same way and how like I'm her favorite podcaster ever and stuff like that.
It was just like, Evan is amazing. Evan is amazing.
She's just like, honestly, if I get an autograph, please send it over. But she was so sweet, and she just, I don't know, it was just like really genuine, like, hey, she didn't have to do that. Even if that's the thing too, is like, there's such a difference between like thinking something and then doing it.
Yeah.
And the fact that she watched the episode and liked it, and then thought to be like, I'm going to shout him out. That was really sweet. So it meant a lot.
It meant so much to me. The chills were all over my body, and it was just the kindest things. And so, Charity, we love you. Thank you so much. And it just I'm obsessed. Yes. As if I couldn't have been more obsessed. Exactly. And then she just sends us the kindest words.
She's awesome.
So thank you, Charity. And listen, my love continued because Charity is giving us this season. Mm-hmm. Well, number one, it's just so apparent how kind and loving and warm she is, and how she'll make all these men feel so seen. Mm-hmm. And then on top of this, she is giving us all those moments that we want with the drama. Mm-hmm. She is giving us the twists and the turns. And that is what is making this season so good so far. It was like the Brayden twist last episode, keeping Brayden and Adrian this episode. Yeah. She's giving us an incredible season where I'm like, I'm going to be on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Yeah, she's just like, she's riding that perfect balance between like graceful and nice, but also like standing up for whatever she wants to do. And I think that's huge.
I mean, I just loved, and we'll get into it later in the episode, but just even in her ITMs when she was talking about her process between Adrian and Brayden and why she's making the decisions she's making, it's just tens across the board everywhere.
100%. Let's do this.
So let's get into it. Okay, before we officially dive in, sorry everyone, you have to keep waiting. Before we officially dive in, we do have to take a quick pause. I took the shades off because it's time to kick this hangover.
Are you telling me I should take my shades off?
You can keep your shades on as long as you want, baby.
No, it's okay. They're coming off.
Let's see those gorgeous eyes.
All of a sudden, I just take them off and I have two black eyes from getting in a fight at the bar.
Surprise!
I'm just like,
the night took a twist.
Guys.
Okay, family, listen. Life can be stressful, and sometimes you need a little me time to wind down, and sometimes you need a little bit of intimate me time, if you know what I mean, okay? And nothing turns up the heat like Dipsea, an app full of hundreds of short, sexy audio stories. And these audio stories are indeed sexy.
Yeah, they are. Dipsea brings scenarios to life with immersive soundscapes and realistic characters. There are all sorts of scenarios. We are talking stories about second chance romances, adventurous vacation flings, hot and heavy hookups, and so much more.
Dipsea stories are inclusive, and they have amazing celebrities voicing some of these stories as well. And listen, I absolutely have some of my favorites that I listen to and go to time and time again. But something I love about Dipsea is that new content is released every week. So you'll always have something spicy and new to listen to. They also have sexy stories that you can read as well if you prefer that. And you can find soothing sleep stories and wellness sessions on Dipsea. They have it all, really.
Dang. Let Dipsea be your go-to place to spice up your me time, explore your fantasies, relax and unwind, or heat things up with a partner. For listeners of the show, Dipsea is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/momdad. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to DIPSEA stories.com/momdad. dipseastories.com/momdad.
Listen, we have so much amazing reality TV to watch. We don't have time to stand in line at the post office. We're busy watching our reality TV. So we don't, okay? We haven't in years because we use Stamps.com. Oh my gosh, Stamps.com has made our lives so much easier over the years and saved us money too. If you mail or ship often, let Stamps.com do the hard part for you. Simply print postage and shipping labels right from your home or office. It's ready to go in minutes. No long lines or complicated setup required.
For 25 years, Stamps.com has been indispensable for over 1 million businesses. Get access to the USPS and UPS services you need right from your computer, anytime, day or night. No lines, no traffic, no waiting. And Stamps.com has had a long-standing relationship with the USPS and UPS, and they are able to pass on amazing rates to you, up to 84% off.
That's so huge. With Stamps.com, all you need is a computer and printer. They even send you a free scale, so you'll have everything you need to get started. If you need a package pickup, you can easily schedule it through your Stamps.com dashboard. And if you sell products online, Stamps.com seamlessly connects with every major marketplace and shopping cart, so they make it as easy as possible.
Avoid the hassle and get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code MOMDAD for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter code MOMDAD.
All right, the official recap of episode 2 of Charity's season of The Bachelorette. First off, we go straight in, and Charity is wearing this so cool, gorgeous green leather jacket that I want. Please tag where it's from, Charity. And all I could think about was like how amazing she looked and how much she rocked this green leather jacket. And I immediately went to Zach's episode where he had his bad bitch energy and was wearing his leather jacket.
Gosh. Leather jackets are a little testy in that way. You know what I mean? Leather jackets are very much like you can be worn by the leather jacket
really
very quickly. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to say this right now, and I'm just going to go out of my way to say this. I don't really know the style I don't know the difference between the styles when it comes to the names, right?
Yes.
But there's the style that she wore, which is like the ones that have the
like lapel type
lapels.
collars.
It's like a classic kind of like 50s or like biker.
Yes.
And then there's like the speed bike style leather jacket.
Yes.
That's like just that looks basically like a cloth jacket, but it's made of.
Yes.
Like
It's got just like the straight. There's no
plain,
collar.
and there's just that. Here's the thing. If you're a high style person, you can kind of work that out. So you can have different things going on and it can look very cool. If you're just a guy who wears golf clothes most of the time and then you're like, I'm going to be a little sexy tonight and throw that thing on. For me, we don't do that. And that is a big, hard line for me. And that was kind of the Zach energy is like, I got myself a leather. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's when we're just like, let's not do leather. It's like there's no reason to go there.
I just was picturing because I remember you doing a whole riff about Zach with his bad bitch energy being like, and I've got you all leather jackets so that we can match together with our bad bitch energy. And I just picture Charity being like, you know what? I'm gonna grab my own. She's rocking this gorgeous green one that looks fantastic. And Zach is like, but I already purchased you a leather jacket.
I know what'll look good. Believe me. You look one look at me and you're pregnant. So let me be honest with you. You're going to want to trust me on this one. It's like, he's the type of guy that would like, out of the goodness of his heart, like just be like, I got us all uniforms for my bachelor party. And I would leave because I couldn't do, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing is like that kind of energy is like.
What type of uniform would you say no to?
Any.
Really?
I mean, if it was like funny,
silly fun,
then I'd be cool with it. But if it's like, guys, I got some cool shit, and it's like
we're gonna go out tonight and look so hot for the babes. Let's all match for the babes.
Let's all match. Yeah, that's the problem.
I understand.
Unfortunately, that's the type he would have.
If it's like, hey, we've got these fun onesies or these silly T-shirts, it's like, great, let's have a great time.
Exactly. If you got us the bikini shirts, you know what I mean? That had the like drawings of, you know, that's funny. But like if it's like, guys, I got us all Saints leather jackets. That's when it's
so we can look absolutely sexy for all the babes
before we get the old ball and chains locking us down. You know what I mean? Like that's the energy that he would have with the leathers. Yeah, the leather. Most of the time people get worn by a leather. You got to be careful with the leather.
Well, she wore that leather.
She wore the leather. And that green was very cool. I'd never seen a green one like that.
So good. Well, and speaking of fashion,
yeah.
Jesse P, JP immediately addresses Brayden.
Yeah. Kind of calls him out for the earrings and the
earrings and the scarf
shorts.
Situation, which, by the way, I did read that Brayden had said that the reason that he wears the earrings and the scarves and all this, specifically the earrings, is that he used to be in the military and they were strict no earring policy. So now he's like, I just want to wear them now, whenever I can. And it's a conversation piece and it's, you know, a way I can express myself.
Yes.
And listen, first of all, I have a lot of thoughts specifically about Brayden, obviously, from this episode that we will get into. But on a pure fashion note,
yes,
I appreciate someone who wants to express themselves and express themselves through the art of fashion and do whatever makes them happy.
Okay.
I enjoy that.
Yes.
I will say, after this season ends, depending on where he lands as a villain or not in this franchise, he definitely could start some sort of earring or scarf line, but it would be a big seller with like your neighbor Kathy. You know what I mean? It's very much like your neighbor Kathy, you know, has an MLM that makes these earrings and these scarves.
Yes.
It's kind of that energy.
Yeah. It's like he borrowed his mother's like big old earrings from the 80s.
And the
You know what
circle scarf.
And
Yeah.
the circle scarf. You know, I'm also interested too by the scarf with the shorts.
I don't know if I noticed
He was
this.
rocking shorts.
Yeah.
So it was like warm up top, cool on the bottom.
Which I can respect because I do
So it's like
love
that.
that.
It's like an ice bath in the summer.
Sure.
You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
kind of going like maybe he's a little chilly up top.
Sure.
But I did like.
But it's not for function, it's for fashion.
It's definitely
You have to
for
remember,
fashion.
it's
Definitely for fashion. And Jesse kind of came out and was like, "What's with the outfit, bro?" But I do like that he made fun of himself with it. Like he said, you know, "Oh, I'm just wearing what feels good and I like it and I know it looks like a tablecloth," basically.
Yeah.
I thought that's a cool way. He could have taken that more personal.
Well, and he had
could have
said-
felt attacked a little bit, but he kind of just went with it. So aside from all the stuff we're going to get into later, I think that's a good way to handle anytime someone giving you kind of slightly a hard time for what you're wearing.
Agreed. Because we'll have that all the time.
Of course.
Sometimes the older folks around us will be like, "What's that about?" Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And like, you know, have some comment.
Where
But
are the rest of your jeans?
yeah, when we're
When you have like a hole or something, you know what I mean?
the boomers just
Hey,
like,
I hope you didn't pay for that. They're broken.
I hope they were on sale considering half the cloth is off of them
Yeah.
already.
My thing too is also if you're gonna make fun of someone for something, you know, so Jesse Palmer like talking about any sort of fashion stuff, I would definitely like take a break before
Well,
we
you know,
consider
he
that.
was looking nice in that sweater. I thought that it was a
Sure.
nice sweater. I did love the risky JP move
Yes.
by then like roasting Braden and being like, I guess Braden got the first impression rose and just said, "Fuck it."
Yeah.
I was like, JP,
Well, here's the thing.
the AI.
Did you see the movie Interstellar?
Yes.
Do you remember when Matthew McConaughey has that droid thing?
Yes.
And he has the settings on there, the humor settings.
Yes.
I think that's what happened with him, is that they turned the humor setting up a little bit. They turned
They're like swearing aloud.
No, they watched the first episode and they were like, the human setting was low. So they turned up the edge setting and they're like, let's bump the humor, let's bump their edge, and then let's see if we can get a little bit more out of this.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So the AI is always learning.
It's learing and growing.
It's always learning and growing.
As Bachelor Clues always reminds us. Bless him.
So that's what they did. They just kind of upgraded his humor setting to about, I think it was at like 14% and they bumped it to 30. So we got a little bit of an edge out of that, which we liked.
We liked that. But yeah, again, you know, I have thoughts about Braden that we'll talk about later. But
Yeah.
I like someone who's going to make a bold fashion choice. And then like I was saying, he's like, it's a good conversation piece. It's fun, whatever. And I appreciate that. But
Right.
again, I think it'd be a great collection for Neighbor Kathy. Great name for it too. Neighbor Kathy, right?
Neighbor Kathy's really good.
Thank you.
One last note on the earrings specifically.
Yeah.
I really hope that, because they do get big. You know what I mean? They get big.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that as it goes, it gets bigger and bigger.
Each episode.
So they just keep going farther down and down and down. So like by episode 5, they're literally like at his ankles and they're very heavy. He just keeps getting used to how big they are. So then he keeps going further and further. So then by the end, they're dragging on the ground and people are stepping on them. And he has to go to the ER to get like his ear repaired. But then he keeps putting them back in. And like it's a whole storyline. And then, kind of like Tobias in
Arrested Development.
when his hair plugs are rejected by his body. But like this whole thing is that he keeps the earrings in because he loves them so much, but he's slowly just like losing, like he's like, it's my identity. So that's what I hope happens, basically. Or not hope, but that's what I maybe hope. I hope they get bigger and bigger and bigger by the end. They're
Yeah,
just
I don't
like,
want him to get hurt, but
no.
just I like the idea of them dragging
I
on
do
the
like
ground.
the idea of them just like every episode, it's like 6 inches more. And it's just like, they're just getting longer and longer.
By the time that he either proposes to Charity or get kicks off, they're just fully.
They're like squid. They're like a squid. They're just like dragging like a train.
It's a full train.
Yeah, it's a train.
How did you know? Did you read spoilers about this season? That's how you know what happens?
Like, there's gonna during their wedding, there's gonna be someone holding her train of dress and then someone holding his earrings. And it's just like we don't tell him that they're a little long. We just kind of he'll freak out.
my God. Well, anywho. That was the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's the kind of rehabbing we're doing right now.
But we find out that the first one-on-one goes to Aaron B, baby.
Yes.
And I say, hell yes, this is the competition that begins, because we started to see a potential Aaron B, Brayden moment last episode, but I will say we didn't see it this episode at all. That doesn't mean it's going to go away. But initially I'm like, oh, okay. Because if we've seen previews for the future, it looks like Aaron B and Brayden are having some words. So
Don't have a great vibe.
Loving that the competition is now beginning. He gets the very first date, and Brayden is already feeling like he needs more affirmation than the first impression rose. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, and he's going to let the guys know that later.
Yeah, I mean, well, and we'll get into this more again later, but the first impression rose is a big insecurity creator. It creates huge insecurity.
It either creates insecurity for the person or for the people, the rest of the cast.
Yeah, for the rest of the cast. But I do think that it's more insecure for the person who gets it.
Interesting.
Because remember last season?
Greer got
it.
Yep.
And it messed her up the whole rest of the season. It gives you like first of all, it gives you an immediate superiority complex.
Yep.
So they immediately always take it a little too far. They always kind of like, I got this in the bag. And then
some of the people,
but I'm saying a lot of it just kind of seems to like create that in people. And then when all of a sudden the next date's chosen and it's not them, they start spiraling. Yeah. Versus everyone else hasn't been given anything yet. So they're a little bit like they're slowly growing. But if you get that initial like boost, it messes with people's heads. And so it's just really interesting how you watch him go like from high and he's kind of like cocky and he's like, and then he starts to spiral when he's not getting all this adoration that he thought he was going to get. It's almost like, and then, it's just, I have more to think about it later or more to talk about later, but it does seem to create almost like a complex for people because they think like, wow, we have something so much more special than everyone else does right away. Yeah. And I think from there, it's only downhill. In a lot of ways for their brain. They're like, oh my gosh, wait, no, why aren't they coming up to me? What's going on? We thought we had something.
And sometimes the first impression rose holder, in fact, I think frequently the first impression rose holder will end up being the person who walks away with the lead.
Really?
Yeah, or I think statistically it's a high percentage.
Interesting. So
then, but in recent seasons it hasn't been.
That's what I'm saying. Recent seasons especially. It's just I feel like it creates in them like a real. They start having problems that people don't like them. It's interesting. It almost creates this like anxiety.
That's interesting.
So we got Aaron.
I wonder too if sometimes when the rest of the house won't like someone, won't be a fan of someone, is maybe the person who gets the first impression rose more like a big personality. So of course they pop to the lead the first night, and then they might rub everyone else the wrong way in the house because they are a big personality. Perhaps
I think there's many elements to this.
I don't know. Interesting.
I think there's a special. I think Game of Roses should do a deep analysis on the first impression rose. I'm sure they already have. Actually,
I'm sure they already have.
So,
like, what are you talking about? Of course.
Let me just access their
the database.
Their database, yeah.
Well, again, Aaron B ends up getting the first one-on-one. I mean, that gorgeous red Mustang that rolls out. Yeah. Charity is driving, which
love that.
Obsessed. What a power move! I just love that move.
I would be so grateful if she drove too, because I can barely drive a stick. So if they were like, Evan, go ahead and drive, I'd be like, I think she should. I think that's cooler if she does.
I would love for her to have the opportunity to just drive this car first, this gorgeous car.
I would never be that type of toxic male that said I should drive. Are you insane?
You're just
and I'm just like trying
that it's not.
Like, sorry, no, I know. I'm just like grinding the gears.
Also, I was looking at you the whole time saying, oh my God, if I was Charity and I had to do the driving in any of these Bachelor moments where the lead has to drive, I'd be sweating if I was the lead because I'm a terrible driver. I've gotten better.
You've gotten a lot better
in recent years, with some more practice, I guess, in my 34th year. But I'm not a good driver. And the idea of having a camera in my face while I'm trying to drive and there's cameras everywhere and you're having to try to talk and like get to know the person. I can't do those two things at once. Yeah. And then on top of it, They are going on a specific road that I have driven through before and was freaking out about because you're on the edge. Everything is so tight. So you're having to be filmed. I'd be panicking. So I would not have wanted that. I'd be like, can we get someone else to drive and we can just talk in the back of the car?
Yes.
That would be great.
For those of you who don't live in LA or don't really, spend much time here, there's a lot of small roads up in the hills.
Tight
And
roads.
it's a lot of like people have to pull over to the side in order to let you go. You have to pull over constantly to let someone else go because these roads were built with like Model Ts in mind.
Yeah.
And so like it can be kind of stressful when you're like up on the hills and you have to pull over to the side off a cliff and then like let someone go through. So it's definitely not like ideal to be chatting about like, so what's your childhood trauma about? And then you're like trying not to die,
You're just like, oh my God, full panic.
Yeah.
I would have been so nervous, but
So
she
the
was
Hollywood
cruising.
sign, they go to the Hollywood sign.
They go to the Hollywood sign together. They have their champagne and the views, and she shares with him that she chose him after having a conversation with him about how long his parents have been together and how long they've like deeply loved each other. And I have to say, immediately these two feel very comfortable together in their energy. It very much felt like they have known each other for a really long time. When you just meet certain people where you're like, I don't know, in another life I knew you. I feel like I've known you for forever.
Yes.
Almost more than anyone, I feel that energy between her and Aaron B.
Yes.
is this
Super comfortable.
like knew you in another life energy.
It's not forced. It's very calm.
Very relaxed.
Very relaxed. I didn't necessarily feel electricity. Could be that he's a little slower to open up and take time to kind of like find his speed a little bit. Maybe he's just a calm guy, relaxed. I didn't notice something that was like obviously they had amazing makeouts and they were like, it was very romantic.
The makeouts were definitely romantic.
Right. But I'm also starting to kind of wonder now that, again, Charity being like Katie Thurston a little bit in that the kiss, they're very good at kissing. And so it can look like they're in love with whoever they're kissing because they're really good at it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The reason why I'm saying this is because I catch myself going, ooh, they have a strong connection. Look at them kiss. And then I'm going like, it might just be that like Charity's that good of a kisser to where like you keep thinking that they're in love, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh, she's just an incredible kisser.
But she's just a really good kisser. And so it's like, you know what I'm saying? Because so that's more what I'm wondering is like, she seems like she could kind of build chemistry with a lot of people because she's just talented and like charismatic and sweet. She's kind of got that ability. So it's going to be interesting to see who like sparks her.
Yes.
But I can see all the guys being sparks and feeling a spark.
I think she, more than anyone we've seen, and I don't know how long, will have a lot of men be absolutely in love with her.
Yeah.
And it be like when she has to say goodbye, it'll be devastating for them.
That's
because
what I'm saying.
I feel like there's going to be like at least 8 guys who like legitimately fall in love.
So my thing is I like him a lot. I'm glad that we got over the whole coin flipping thing because there was like 3 more coin flips happening. And I was like, we better end this coin flipping thing.
I'll tell you what I wrote down. So at the very beginning of this episode, we see him in the mansion kind of by himself flipping the coin.
Just like warming up.
No, he's flipping the coin. And then when he started to flip it again, when he was with her, I first wrote down, oh my God, were we wrong this whole time? And it's actually a real quarter with heads and tails, and this man is
just
like
that much of a risk taker.
And he's just like, you know what? I believe in the fate of this coin, and he's just flipping this coin and going, this coin is genuinely, this coin is truly the North Star, and it is doing me well. And I'm like, it's a real coin, isn't it? Like I just felt it. All of a sudden in my body, watching him flip it alone, I'm like, oh my God, we were all wrong. And he's at home just laughing at all of us, just like, you guys, you think it's a fake coin? Think it's a double-sided coin? This is a real coin, and this is just my fate.
I kind of, me, I'm always like creating fake scenarios in my brain for no reason.
We love a fake scenario.
I kind of had like a Frodo Baggins moment in my head where he had become like addicted to the coin.
Oh, okay.
And the rush was so big that like he can't let the coin down.
So he's like, I have to use the coin.
He uses it for everything. So he's like, what am I going to eat tonight? Chicken or steak? And it's just like, steak it is. You know what I mean?
what?
Like everything's a coin flip to him. Right or left. I guess I'm not going to get home because I took a left and I keep getting left and right and left and right. And I'm an hour away from home, but I got to follow the coin.
Because
and all
fate
his
is
friends are
helping me
like,
decide.
chill. And he's like, don't touch the coin. You know what I mean? It's become sacred.
You know what? I can't lie to you. If all of a sudden I started today
Flipping a coin for
using
every
a coin,
decision.
and especially if the first 5 were like a good decision, I'd be like, I'm starting to do this for everything. It'd be like if I had a magic 8 ball and it was right a couple times in a row, I'm like, I guess I'm using it 24/7.
That's what he says. CTC. Consult the coin. You know what I'm saying? He consult the coin. And that's what you have to do sometimes. You got to flip the coin. But the problem is that he's so obsessed with fate now that he does think that there's a power in the coin. So, I mean,
It's so ridiculous.
I think you guys, I'm so sorry. This is so dumb. But I do love the idea that you saw him flipping a coin like by himself, and it's because he was like,
He's like, now I'm
Every
locked in.
decision
This
is a
coin
coin
has
flip.
done me well so far, so now I have to consult the coin. I have to CTC.
We must consult the coin. Coin life.
Title of the app.
Yeah.
But I felt like, which was sweet to me.
Yeah.
It seemed like all of a sudden he felt like guilty, like
Yeah.
even though he shouldn't. But
Right.
hey, I just want to, in full transparency, make sure you know I'm really into you. I feel like our relationship is taking farther steps and we're getting to the next level. So I just need you to know before our relationship goes further, this is indeed a 2-sided coin. It just heads
like-
on both sides.
She's like, I know. I mean,
She's
like,
like, I know, I thought it was cute. And then you started doing it a lot.
and you're on coin flip number 8, and I've talked to you for 4 minutes total. So, like, I think we're all set on the coin. I think I'm really good that you're telling me, and we can put this to bed.
But here's my thoughts with Aaron B. You know what? I felt like in the first episode, I liked him in the first episode, but like I had said to you, I feel like there were a lot of like, here's the piano, here's the
Kinda
coin,
gimmick
the kind of
vibes.
gimmick thing. And I said to you, I bet he'll start opening up more. And I think he was maybe a little nervous the first night, and also probably getting suggestions from like Clancy and
Yeah.
friends who are like, you should try this to stand out and make sure
Yeah.
that she gets to know you this way and da 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 da. And I feel like we're going to see him more. And I felt like that happened this episode. And I think he's going to be a little bit of a slow build.
That's what I'm feeling.
I think we're going to get to know him more and more. I mean, there were a few moments throughout the episode, like before they had the evening portion, where she made a comment about like, my radar feels really good with him, but is it too good to be true? And I was a little
Yeah.
bit, I was like, is this foreshadowing for us? And is it going to not be how it feels? But I would say my natural inclination is like, I feel like he's a little bit of a slow build, which I personally am drawn to. I kind of like someone who's a
Yeah.
little bit of a slow build as yourself. You know, you're not like
Not
wham out
hot
the
out the
gate.
box.
No, it takes time for you to
Sure.
open up. And I feel like we got to see more of him this episode. And I felt like he was more relaxed this episode. I felt like they were super comfortable, like I said, together. And yeah, I'm not sure 100% if like there's the electric chemistry, even though the makeouts were incredible.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like he's going to go far. If not
Okay.
ultimately maybe be the one, like maybe she just gets to
Yeah.
know him more and more and more. That's kind of how I'm feeling with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially too in the evening portion of the date where they had that gorgeous theater, and when they sat down together, he opened up to her and said that, you know, he was in this long relationship and he was vulnerable enough to say like, I wasn't the best boyfriend and I wasn't great with active listening. I wasn't a good communicator. And so I started to go to therapy for that. And I thought that that was really special because I also thought that that was a window into, again, maybe seeing that he will be a little bit of a slow build.
Yeah.
You know, he's saying that like, yeah, I'm having to work on active listening and communicating and letting my boundaries down, because he shared too, then when he opened up after therapy, he was hurt by some friends.
Mm-hmm.
So he let her know like she's such a safe space for him.
Yeah.
And I would be like, yes, Charity is like just the safest of spaces.
Right.
And I could see someone like him who might have a tendency to have his walls up a little bit,
Yeah.
just like maybe be a slow build, but feel so safe and seen by her. And
Yeah.
then
No, I like
don't
that.
know.
I like that he was admitting to like faults in his last relationship. That was
Yeah.
interesting. I'd never seen anybody do that before. And it wasn't like, I did this bad thing. It was just more like, to be honest with you, my last relationship was my fault because I wasn't a good listener and I wasn't. It was like, that's really interesting.
I think it was like really fucking
It
real.
could go either way, but I think like as opposed to like how it's accepted, that type of comment that early on.
Yes.
But I felt like that's really interesting. Like that was a really cool way to be vulnerable very quickly.
It felt very real to me.
More
It
than
wasn't
anything,
like
humble.
It was very humble, and it wasn't like here's this like this story about my life.
Sure.
Where because
He
I'm sure
wasn't
he's
going down
experienced
the hardship.
hardships
He
in
was
his
saying,
life.
I caused hardship, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, and I really liked that.
Yeah.
I liked that moment.
Yeah.
It's scary to be vulnerable like that on national TV and not know how she might take it or the audience might take it. Because the audience might go, well, if he was like this in his life. I mean, there's
100%.
So I really appreciated
I liked
it.
that a lot.
And then after that, they had a moment where I apologize, I forget the name, Lauren Aliana.
It was L.A. It was something.
Lauren A. Where they had a musical moment.
Yes.
And you know what? Sometimes the musical moments do not hit and
That
they
was one
made
of those
me
moments
so
she
uncomfortable.
gave me the arm and goes, look at my chills.
It was one of those moments.
You know what I mean? She gave me the chill. She's like, chill. She's like,
Because-
adore my chills.
Because here's the thing. There are a lot of times when on the show, the musical moments make me so uncomfortable and I hate them.
Yeah.
And in this moment,
was very
I
beautiful.
loved the song. She was an incredible singer. And then their chemistry and the atmosphere and the kissing and all of the combination. And then when the tears started to fall is when we had the ITM with Charity. And she said, if this is a sign of what's to come, and she started getting teary-eyed, and I'm like, oh my God.
She's like, if this is
They're
what
back.
if this is what the guys are like, I'm in for like an amazing
Yeah,
experience.
if this is a sign,
yeah.
and the tears, and I was done. It was romantic.
It was very romantic. Although I do feel like there's a misrepresentation musically.
Okay.
Like I'm not seeing much metal or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like active rock.
You're like, there's country and pop.
It's mostly country because I get it. It's always like, and I held her hand all night and we had 14 kids and then we put them into school and then we live forever. It's always just very like obvious. The lyric is always like, so I took her on a date and then we had some kids and then we bought a house and then we hung out and then we're super old and then we're died and then we're in heaven. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the energy. What I'd love is just like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like something cool like that where you walk in and it's just fuck yeah. Anyway, just a thought. I mean, could you imagine that would really spice it up?
It really would.
You could cut this if you want, you guys. You need to keep it in.
So dumb.
All right, so what's next?
Next we have the group date. Group date number 1. So you find out there's only going to be one one-on-one. That's what we're told. They had a little sneaky one-on-one, a little partial one-on-one moment later. But 2 group dates this episode. And in the midst of this, we're having some mansion moments where we're alluding to the gentleman not being thrilled with Braden's vibe.
He's a classic foot in the mouth guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just talking nonstop. And it's just like, it's crazy how amazing I am. And it's like, what? You know what I mean? He's got a real like knack for just like talking nonstop about like stuff that like kind of only child vibes. You know what I mean? Kind of just like, hey man, we don't need to hear about
Our daughter's offended.
I know. I'm just saying, like, there's just like this, here's more about me energy. And I think that's like rubbing the people the wrong way. You know what I mean? Because they're like, we're all in this together. We're all kind of like feeling that we're in our own
We're all trying to figure this out. Yeah.
And
you just got the first impression, Rose. So like he's already kind of starting to make comments about like it's not enough, and people are like, "What are you joking?"
You know who's the similar energy I'm getting is last season blonde. Who would always talk, maybe it wasn't last season, maybe it was last season, who would always talk about, what season was it? It wasn't last season, it was the season before. Was it Zach's season? It was the season where the blonde, I forgot her name, she was country singer, lineage, and she would always talk about how like it was unfair that she didn't get another one-on-one, and everybody's like, what are you talking about?
Yes.
Remember how she had that energy where like she was pissing everyone off because she kept talking about like how annoying it was that she wasn't being chosen, and everyone's like, well, you want us to feel bad for you that you're not getting another rose or a one-on-one? Like, we're not the people who you should be sympathizing with for you not winning.
Yes.
He's kind of got that energy where he walks in and he goes like, I just don't get it. Like, I should be getting that rose. And everyone's like, what?
Everyone's like,
what do you want me to say?
Yeah, you're not stoked that you already got the first impression rose? Like, let's ease up on it.
Yeah, that's kind of the energy.
Just be aware. Brayden, inside thoughts. You know, it's just stuff you're processing.
Earlier, he felt more harmlessly talkative.
Yes.
Just like he's excitable and he talks. And then now as we're seeing in this episode that like it's definitely getting more like, okay, you're not paying attention to the signs and you're kind of definitely starting to go off the rails. So, but that was the energy I was getting.
Yes.
It was just like not reading the room.
Yes, not reading the room at all.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like initially.
Yeah.
So they got the first group date,
Yeah.
and a group of the men go to Venice Beach, and at first they believe that they are simply building sandcastles, which at first, again, we think maybe Brayden's going to be upset about this because he's talking about beforehand how much he loves competition, and he is ready to compete for Charity's heart. And, are you going to compete by building sandcastles? I don't know. Maybe it becomes a competitive sandcastle off, who knows? But Jesse then shows up in a wild game show host suit.
It was a strange look. It was white shoes, a pair of jeans.
Was it a pair of jeans?
Button-up, like, financial level. Yeah, it was a pair of jeans.
Yeah,
and it was a financial level, like, button-up shirt.
There was
with a suit coat over it.
Yeah.
Here was the problem.
With a sort of flannel pattern.
With a flannel pattern. So it did nothing. Everything was different colors and different patterns.
It was an interesting vibe.
Second of all, the strange move was that the shirt was buttoned up like all the way up and the jacket was closed. So it was like it was half casual, half very formal.
Well, he's dynamic.
They turned down, it was the fashion. They turned up like personal fashion choice. And then they were like, okay, we got to back that down. Cause he's going off a little bit. So
they're like, he seems to have really tapped into
like
Brayden.
This guy's walking in a full suit on the beach. Like I think we're missing this a little bit.
He's tapped into Brayden. So he's like, personal fashion. So he's now interested. The AI is interested in personal fashion choices, and so now
it's so strange because he showed up to the mansion in a cardigan.
Yeah,
and he shows up to the beach
cozy.
In a suit.
Yeah, definitely. Like, but you know what? Though I will say though, they end up having, but they have the Dodge Bowl tournament.
So he's got to look kind of TV ready, I guess.
I think that was a little bit what was going on, but at first I was very confused. Very confused by it. But then he announces indeed there will be a competition, and it is the Dodge Bowl. They end up showing us a full trailer of the Dodge Bowls of the past, including the Yosef reaction and Claire season. They even have, I don't know if they had Aaron S. say this or if he's a big fan of the show, but he said, I can't believe we're doing this when Yosef has a daughter at home, which I was like, that was a fantastic moment in the episode. So I don't know if they fed him that line or if Aaron S. is a massive Bachelor fan.
I believe I forgot that like they had to get fully naked that one episode.
Yeah.
That was gnarly.
Yeah.
I mean, just like literally, like you better take your pants off.
Yeah.
I just forgot that happened, and I was like, how is that even real? Okay, it was just like, oh my gosh.
I'm just a little bit more like, listen, Bachelorette franchise, just give people options when it comes to, their own choices with their body.
That's not really a part of the writing.
It's like, some people are comfortable with some things, some people aren't comfortable with certain things. You just give an allowance.
Yeah, I think it was like they got shavers. So they show at the end that they're like sitting there putting these Speedos on and like shaving. They're like escaping as they're doing this. It was wild. So, okay, so we start playing the game. The fact that they didn't put these people, like the fake crowd,
so they
on
have
the
a
sides.
Crowd, which, by the way, it's a very small crowd that they have brought together.
Probably 15 people on each side.
On each side, yeah.
Right.
So it's not a full crowd.
No.
It's just a spattering of mostly middle-aged women, who are probably fans of the show that are on the sidelines.
Yes. And they put them directly behind the lines where the balls go like soaring. So these women are sitting there as grown men are throwing balls at full speed. And the guys are moving out of the way, and these balls are just absolutely like pelting these people, and they're running for their lives. And I'm just going like literally people are getting like hit and like blah, blah, and I'm just like, they're walking, like I'm thinking behind the scenes people are walking off with bloody noses, and like people are like going, oh my god, they're like, oh, fuck, like bleeding everywhere, and they're like there's like a ambulance that has to come and like collect 4 of these people. Like it's like basically what happens is someone gets hit, breaks their nose, blood everywhere, right? And then the producers are like, do not move, stay behind the line. They're bleeding out.
We have to keep what's the
continuity.
We have to keep the continuity.
Jenny, move over there
of the shot.
Sarah, she has to go to the hospital. You move to her spot. And as the ambulance is there, people keep getting blasted in the face and like breaking their noses. So they just stay there for like an hour and just collect all the bodies basically and take them all to the hospital in one go. Because I mean, these people are like jumping out of the way, almost getting hit. And
it was wild. I mean, like
it was actually insane.
When we say these balls were ricocheting at high speeds off of every part of these middle-aged women's bodies, it was unbelievable.
These men are 25-year-old shredded athletes throwing handballs like at 80 miles an hour, and these like 37-year-old women are just getting absolutely pelted and like jumping out of the way. It was insane. And the show was like focusing on it. They would like slow the ball down as Jenny is like it was insane.
It was bringing back, I have like some serious dodgeball trauma. Like I'm not athletic, so dodgeball always really, really scared me so much.
Oh my God,
in junior high and high school. And I'm like, if I would have been one of those women that was like, oh my God,
I love The Bachelorette.
So I would love to be on The Bachelorette this season, and then they put me behind those lines, and I am running for my life, and they're like, "No, you gotta stay there."
It's like when you get hit with and your hair is long, and you hit, and the head goes like this, but the hair goes the other way, so it just like that. It's like, you should watch me. I'm gonna be on the show, and it's like you just like your face like going 3 different ways.
So we would love to send our thoughts to all of these women. Please let us know.
Condolences, you guys.
Please send a DM saying that you are okay.
Oh my gosh, that was insane watching you guys get pelted by balls and running for your lives.
Okay, so let's keep talking about this date, but we do have to take a quick pause. So summer means dreamy, warm nights, and I want to make my family delicious meals to eat under the shining moon, okay? But why are you laughing at the fact that I want to make beautiful meals for you and our daughter under the shining moon? But here's the thing. I don't know how to cook. Okay. So I'd like to do it, but I don't know how to cook. I struggle in the kitchen and the grocery store, even knowing what to get. But you know what has always saved me and makes me look like a professional chef? That's HelloFresh, baby. HelloFresh.
Oh, we love it.
With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit, baby.
Nothing makes a shining moon more incredible than HelloFresh's seasonal ingredients, which are picked at peak ripeness and travel from the farm to your doorstep in less than 7 days for fresh flavor in every bite. Stuck in a recipe rut? Take a bite out of something new with 40 recipes to choose from weekly. You'll always find meals everyone at the table will enjoy. And HelloFresh is more convenient than grocery shopping. But did you know it's cheaper too? It's also 25% less expensive than takeout. And
let me tell you about my HelloFresh obsession. Do you need dinner ready like now? Look for quick and easy recipes on the HelloFresh menu, including fast and fresh options. These are ready in 15 minutes or less. It's incredible. And HelloFresh Market has new snacks, meals, and more to add on to your weekly orders, like their fun s'mores bundles for kids or me. I love it. How fun is that? And also HelloFresh makes entertaining easy with a selection of crowd-pleasing eats like their snack board with pretzel bites, spiced bar nuts, and hot honey peach jam. It's perfect.
Go to HelloFresh.com/MomDad50 and use code MomDad50 for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, go to HelloFresh.com/MomDad50 and use code MomDad50 for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
Family, you know the hair struggles that I have had over the years, and I really tried so many products. I was trying to take care of my hair and my scalp health, and let me tell you, Vegamore is what changed my hair game. You all know this. I am so grateful for Vegamore. Now for the past year and a half, my hair is growing, and it's strong, and it's shiny due to Vegamore. Blessings.
With Vegamore, you can get visibly thicker, fuller, shinier, longer hair, all without the harsh ingredients. All Vegamore products are 100% cruelty-free and are never formulated with potentially harmful chemicals like parabens or hormones.
And Vegamore has value kits like the Grow Essentials kit, where you get to try more than one amazing product at a great savings. When you sign up for a monthly subscription, you save more and you never run low on the products you need to take care of your hair. Vegamore's shampoo and conditioner are my favorite. I am never using anything else. It makes it so easy to take care of my hair. And the key is consistency in your routine for your most beautiful, healthy looking hair. So I use Vegamore hair serum daily and my hair and scalp are flourishing. And let me tell you something. This hair serum is everything because it doesn't make my hair oily. I love it. Fun fact, Vegamore sells 1 bottle of Grow Serum every 15 seconds on their website. It's so good.
Give yourself the hair you never thought you could have with Vegamore. For a limited time, your Mom and Dad listeners get 20% off their first order by going to vegamore.com/momdad and use code MOMDAD at checkout. That's VEGAMOUR.com/momdad, code MOMDAD to save 20% off your first order. VEGAMOUR.com/momdad, code MOMDAD.
Okay, so during this group date, while the bystanders are getting absolutely decimated, we're seeing certain individuals really stand out. Mm-hmm. Xavier is crushing it. We see Caleb, the wrestler. Uh-huh. He's also crushing it. He's got 316. I'm assuming it's John 316 markered really on his chest.
Out there, yeah.
He's letting the people know. And then also we have Adrian, who, I mean, at least to us viewers, is clearly crushing the competition. He is having so many moments throughout this, as is Caleb and Xavier. Yeah. But Adrian, we're seeing a lot of it. Throughout this, we're having Braden's commentary a little bit about how Caleb, he believes, is the one who's going to get.
He just clearly doesn't like Adrian, and so he's just pissed that he's even doing good.
Yeah, there must be already something. I don't know. Who knows? But the pink team wins, and then the MVP is declared by Charity, and it is Adrian. And this means just the pink team and Adrian get to go on the night portion of the date. So the green team has to go home. Braden is now talking about how he thinks it should have been Caleb. I don't understand what the obsession with Caleb is, why he already doesn't seem to like Adrian. He is fixated.
Yeah. It's very weird to be that obsessed with who got MVP of a dumb little game.
I'm like, you're on the pink team.
You won,
so you get to go. But they end up doing the after party with the pink team. And Braden and Charity have a moment. He, in this conversation, brings up hey, I know I got the first impression rose, but essentially I need more affirmation. And she gives this to him graciously and lets him know how she feels about him. They start making out. He connects it with the movie Avatar somehow.
He was he's like, dude, we are like the Avatar when you put your ponytail together. Do feel good about, though, that Charity did, and I thought, ooh, that was a really good, she kind of checked him a little bit. Uh-huh. He's talking about, I get the first impression rose, but I don't feel like that's enough. I need more Adderall, I feel like we have an amazing connection, this. And then she kind of batted him down a couple notches by going, I do feel like that first night, we had a great little conversation. It was very playful, and for the limited time that we had, I felt like we had a good time together. Kind of going, calm your horses down. I think you're cool, and we've had a vibe, but, don't think that I'm in love with you. You know what I mean? And I think that was kind of the energies. He had been in his own head thinking I think we're in love. And she's a little bit no, we had a good conversation and we had some fun. So I gave you the rose, but don't overstate the first impression rose. It's first impression. It's not first love at first sight.
Ask you to propose to me.
Exactly. Yes. So I think she could probably sense from him that he took it a little too far. And she was kind of had to go, no, we had a great conversation. That's why I gave it to you.
Yes.
But that's about it.
Now it's almost she is a therapist and went to school for all of this and got all of her degrees. Honestly, this season, even just 2 episodes in, it is so clear that this woman is a professional.
Knows
because
what's going on. Yeah,
in these
exactly.
conversations, again, it's like the active listening and the way that she is framing things.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now like, are we going to have all of our leads be therapists? Because clearly we're loving this.
Right. No,
we're loving
absolutely.
this.
Absolutely.
And then we have a moment with John and Charity, and he talks about how he played professional basketball. He's so smiley and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
They end up having a good makeout session. He asks for it. She likes that he took the initiative. Yeah. I really like John. John has really great energy, and even the way that you're seeing him interact with the other guys so far in the season, I'm liking.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be problematic or looking for any drama. He just seems to be there just for her, and he's kind of like doing his own thing.
But he's still then strong in the conversation and speaking up with his truth and things, and I really like him. Now, while this is happening, Brayden then sits with the men, and he starts explaining why he's kind of wanting it all right now. And he's saying that, the first impression rose, or even this rose for tonight, is just a drop in the bucket, because what he wants is time. Now, what Adrian brings up to him is science. He says, my guy, scientifically, if you get a rose, that means more time on the show.
Right.
Because that means you will be here longer. So I hear you, but also a rose does equal more time.
Right.
And Brayden seems annoyed by this immediately, that Adrian offers this perspective. And he right away then directs at him that he wouldn't have ever picked him as the MVP, that he would have picked the wrestler.
And that he was like a guy who only won a championship ring because he got traded at the last minute.
Which was really rude.
Yeah, it was just very young.
And I know
That's what it felt like.
And he's 24.
It just felt like high school vibes. Like, well, the only reason why you're on this team anyway is because your dad's rich. It had that energy. And it was kind of like are we really talking about the legitimacy of winning a silly Speedo game on the beach? Like, what are we talking? It was just very weird.
And then Adrian saying to him, like, I didn't pick myself as MVP. Like, I was chosen. So I don't know why you're coming at me about the fact that Charity chose me. Like, and he even then said, he's like, yeah, Caleb was great, but I was chosen.
Yes.
So what am I supposed to go? You know what? Actually,
I don't deserve this.
My teammate Caleb, the wrestler, should have gotten it instead of me. So I'm going to sacrifice my MVP-ness over to Caleb.
MVP-ness.
My MVP-ness.
I like that.
So immature.
You said it.
But that was this is when it starts to really shift to me personally with Brayden, because listen, I'm understanding that, he's a big personality. Yeah. He's talkative, and it's like, I get the big energy. I'm sure when you know the guy, he's a nice guy. But it's when it shifted for me, because I was like, Brayden. And I understand the youth, but then not making excuses for the youthfulness of it, that you're like, this is just a moment where it feels like it's not about Charity right now. You've talked about how you are very competitive a few times throughout this show, and this feels like competitive nature. Like, for some reason you decided that you felt like Caleb should get it, and then you're annoyed that Adrian batted you back a little bit, and now you're taking it really personally, and then you're responding in this way that to me is inappropriate, by just talking when you shouldn't and calling someone out for something that has nothing to do with them. And then it's the same thing that we see then later after the second group date, where then it doesn't even involve him. Yeah. And then he makes it about him, and then gets very defensive about it, and then is saying these things about Charity that are just so not okay to me. Yeah. It's
really strange. He's just acting strange to me.
Yeah.
I don't really get it.
No, me either. I was having a hard time even following.
For getting chosen in the silly game. Why are you mad that she kissed? Did she kiss someone else? Or it's like, you're mad that she kissed someone in front of other people. Like,
Yeah, we'll
what?
get into that. But
yeah. It's just very strange behavior. I'm not really understanding.
now I'll say this. We are recording this Monday night, and
Yeah.
this is releasing on Wednesday morning. So between now and when we drop this, maybe via Instagram, Brayden will have said
Talked about
something.
something.
Adrian will have said something. One of the men might say something that was
Sure.
happening behind the scenes that we missed, or we'd have more insight into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you.
Just confused on that.
And I have to tell you, man, he's just an instigator. It just feels like he's being an instigator
and
for no reason right now.
I was kind of team him that first episode because I just felt like he was rubbing people the wrong way, but only because he just was very excitable.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where we're seeing it's not just excitability; it's kind of instigation. It's kind of speaking when you're out of turn. It's kind of like pushing people's button for no reason. It's
Yeah.
like being super braggadocious in front of people's faces. It's a little. I mean, all I'm trying to say is I could really understand why he would rug people the wrong way.
Well, I got to tell you, and I know later in the episode, we're having a lot of the men be like, send home Brayden and Adrian. So again, I don't know what and then the guys, of course, it's because they're not getting time. I also don't know what's happening behind the scenes and conversations, but I got to tell you, I felt like if I was Adrian and I'm sitting there and out of left field, Brayden is like, I don't think you should be MVP, and is just kind of coming for me, I would have lost it.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm trying to get to know this person. I'm like, why are you coming for me?
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. Like I did well in the game and they chose me, and so you're gonna put a spotlight on me about
Yeah.
this. I would not be happy.
You felt the rage.
I felt the rage
Yeah.
coming in, and I would have snapped at him. Now, Adrian goes to Charity, and he kind of talks with her about it. So he ends up sharing with Charity. He lets her know that he has a child. So this is a big deal with him because he's like, listen, this is a big sacrifice for me. And of course, Charity handles it perfectly and is like,
Yeah.
sees him and acknowledges all of that. And then he lets her know that, it's kind of tough for him because he's here and it's a big sacrifice and it means a lot to him to be here. And he feels like there's kind of an energy in the house that might feel more like vacation spring break for some of the guys. Now, of course, Charity is not down for this. She is our Bachelorette. We have to have people here who are here for the right reasons. And I believe Charity is ready to get married.
Yeah.
With all my heart, I believe this. So she's not liking this. But he did not bring up Brayden.
Right.
And if I was Adrian, I would have snapped at Brayden, or I would have brought up Brayden.
Right.
And we know it's like kind of the cardinal sin. If you bring up someone without the lead asking you, you're going to end up getting sent home. And he didn't do that.
Yes.
Just brought up a general.
But he did later.
But she asked him.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, she did ask him. We'll get to that in a second. But I mean, like, it started. Yeah, I mean, let's get into that second group date.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Because it ends up connecting.
That kind of where it really starts to boil for him.
Yes. So we have the second group date with our dear Jesus, Josh, John Henry, Michael, Warwick, Joey, and Spencer. Gabby and Rachel are there. And we have a live audience and stage, and we find out that they're going to ask the men questions, and whoever they are most impressed by is going to help Charity break the record for the longest kiss in Batch Nation history, which was set originally by Sean Lowe, Zach's most favorite.
An absolute legend. I mean, a real golden fedora.
A real golden fedora.
If you have the longest makeout, you have Illuminati status when it comes. You have diamond class.
Sean Lowe
diamond fedora.
Sean Lowe has 3 minutes and 27 seconds. So the winner is going to help Charity break that. And the ladies ask questions like, where do you put your hands when kissing?
Yeah.
Sexiest thing about Charity. Final question. And all the men are doing amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Love these men. So many good guys this season.
Yeah, they're all really good.
So many amazing options.
Yes.
I'm genuinely wowed by like almost all of them.
Yes. Almost.
Genuinely. Almost. But then they ask the men to tell them a story about a special kiss. The guys all give a special kiss story. Shout out to Warwick, by the way. His style. He's so cute. I like his vibe.
Yeah, I know you like his vibe.
I like his vibe.
I'm very happy for you.
But then Joey ends up telling a story which basically is a story about the kiss that him and Charity will have. Crushes it.
Yeah.
Great call.
That was really good. The way he did it, he kept staring at her, and then they brought up the fact that like he's just hasn't broken eye contact with you once, and like so he's got just a great vibe. Joey's got such a genuine vibe. I really, really like him.
Is incredible, and their kiss. First of all, I can't even imagine. They went for 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
After they broke the record, they just kept going.
And by the way, I don't know if you noticed in the ITM, but Charity made a comment where she was like, yeah, they never told us to stop. And her producer was like, no, they said it. You just didn't hear it. So Charity wasn't enjoying the kiss.
And then they made out a bunch more that night.
Yeah.
And they were really connected. Amazing dinner.
They had, it was a cheese board,
Oh, charcuterie.
Yeah. They had an amazing charcuterie board. But that on their one-on-one, sorry, we're all over the place.
Yeah.
But Joey, during the one-on-one.
Real quick, kind of brutal. He gets a full makeout session for 5 minutes, and then after that, they go, by the way, bye, boys. And then he gets a one-on-one. Brutal.
That's rough.
Brutal to
That's
watch
rough.
someone make out for 5 minutes and then be sent out.
They
You don't
had
even
to-
get like a cocktail vibe
They
or
had
nothing.
to stare at them for 5
and then leave.
minutes. And then also Gabby and Rachel are like commentating the entire time about like, oh yeah, like, look at that.
Yeah. Oh, nice tongue action. Grab the jaw. Okay, grab the neck, graze the hair, pull, push, tongue in. You know what I mean? It was literally like.
And they're having to watch.
They're just
And
watching it
it's
being
a
like-
long time.
And the producers put those clamps on their eyes so they couldn't look away.
They couldn't look away.
Their eyes were burning.
And bless all of them. We'll talk about it in a second. But when they went back to the house and they were like,
They took it
you know
very
what?
well.
We enjoyed this part of the date because Charity really got to see this part of us. Again, great guys. Just
Right.
taking
could
away.
be tweaked. Could pull a
Taking
braid
away
on it, but they
the
didn't.
beauty. Taking away the beauty from it. But yeah, it was brutal because then Joey got his one-on-one.
But I guess they lost the game, so that's kind of now that
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it, that was kind of the punishment, right?
Yeah.
So then they have their one-on-one
Yes.
powerful dinner or powerful charcuterie.
Powerful charcuterie.
The cheese was potent.
Yes, absolutely. They didn't touch it because he's staring at her and she's giggling and he's like, I want to kiss you again. And she goes, I know.
That's
Cute.
cute. Very cute to say I know.
So cute. I was like writing it down.
Yeah, not
Taking
to say
notes.
me too, but say I know. That's a move.
I'm gonna use that on you at some point.
Oh my god, we're gonna make out so much, you guys. It's gonna be mental. I'm gonna bust my fedora out and just make out with her so much.
But Joey then ends up sharing with
Is
her.
that a funny moment of just like, how have you and the wife been doing? You guys been good? Yeah, we've been good, dude. Oh my god, last night was insane. What do you mean? You guys tried some new stuff in the bedroom? No, just like made out so long. Dude. It was epic, dude. Made out for I don't know, an hour straight, dude. Wait, what do you mean? Just made it? Yeah, oh yeah, dude. Tongue and everything. There's just something funny about that. Anyway, you can cut that. So I continue. So we have the one-on-one.
So Joey, when he then shares with her about how family means a lot to him
Yeah.
and his family, his mom and dad were divorced when he was younger. And he said a lot of people talk about how a divorce feels like a broken home, but to him, he felt so much love because his parents' marriage ended because his dad ended up coming out.
Yeah.
When he was in kindergarten, and he shares about how his parents' connection through it, he saw so much love and they stayed so close and strong and kept the family so tight. I have to tell
It was
you,
beautiful.
it was so beautiful. And I may be wrong about this, so I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think this might have been a first on the show where we're talking about a gay parent.
Yeah.
And I am so happy. Thank you, Joey, for sharing your story and then talking about, again, how you just saw so much love through both of your parents. And he talks about how he has this incredible relationship with his dad and he goes to his dad for everything.
I liked it because she has made it very clear that she's very family focused, and he was able to come at it from a place of like, we can be equally as strong even if there is divorce, even if there are changes. Like, look at my family who's had this completely different journey, yet we're equally, if not more stronger because of it. And so I thought that was cool.
And what sounds in like a mom and children who are supporting
Yeah.
your dad.
Right. And so like
through this.
Exactly. So it was really cool to see like I come from an equally strong family.
Yes.
Just mine looks different. And I liked that.
I love that so much.
Yeah, it was cool.
And so happy to just see some representation. I know that his dad's not there, but a family member of someone who's part of the LGBTQIA plus community, someone who is part of the gay community. So sending love to Joey and his family.
Yeah.
Love that he was able to
He's
share
a really
that.
sweet guy.
He's
really, really nice.
I mean, I'm assuming America is obsessed with Joey.
I
And
think if it doesn't work out with Charity, he's not going to have a problem.
no, he's not.
The DMs will be full.
He's definitely not.
Yeah.
And he seems like he will be a wonderful partner to someone.
Yes.
That's for sure. But
So this drama,
so back at the mansion,
Braden hears about this atrocity that must be addressed. Because he kind of went like San Diego Aaron with the disrespect. You know what I mean? He kind of went like, I will not have
but I gotta say,
makeouts happening
I do not
in front of my face.
But let's be clear, I do not believe that our San Diego Aaron would
No, of course
consider
not.
that disrespect.
I'm talking about the disrespect.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because he goes like, honestly, like, this disrespectful and no one's going to disrespect my friends kind of weird vibe. And I was kind of like, hey, if you got selected to make out for 3 minutes, would you say, I will not disrespect my friends like this?
Ding,
I will,
ding, ding,
I will
ding,
kiss
ding.
you for 4 seconds in the privacy of the fantasy suite. But up until then, we will not even touch or hug.
Well,
It's like, get out of here, dude. There's nothing about disrespect. It has nothing to do with...
you mean you're on The Bachelorette, a show? This is the premise of the show?
It's just
Like,
so
are
silly.
you joking?
It's so like it's so obviously has nothing to do with disrespect. It has nothing to do. It has everything to do with the fact that you're jealous and that you didn't like the idea that she made out with a guy for a long time and it wasn't you.
Well, and then
that's
also-
all it is.
and then
And
al-
instead of being honest about that, going like, honestly, I can't handle that. I'm so jealous right now. He blames her. And it was
Which-
just like, first of all, it wasn't even her idea. It's his production. Second of all, blaming her for kissing a guy on a dating show? Like,
Okay, well-
did you forget where you are?
Also, him blaming her, we'll get into that because that is where the anger was
Sure.
boiling up for me. But also the fact too that these men sat there and said, this is what happened with the date. And then the men on the date were like, you know what though? Good for Joey. We saw his fantastic technique. God bless. And it actually ended up being a really good date because we connected with Charity in these ways and she saw these things about us. And yeah, it's a bummer, but like she did see this about us. And Braden goes, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. How do you sit here and say,
How could you? And he makes it sound like a pushover type
Yeah.
energy. Like, how could
like,
you be?
I'm an alpha male. I don't let that happen to me. That was his
Yes.
energy big
It's
time.
like, how could you be okay with that? So I'm like, when you're getting in your ITMs and you're going like, I'm like upset for my friends that they were disrespected. I'm like, first of all, I don't know if they'd say friends, but
And I don't think you represent them. And I don't think they want you to represent them.
they are happy with the outcome. Sure, I'm sure they would have loved to be Joey in the situation, but they are taking the joy and good out of their time with Charity.
And even if they're not happy, they're just kind of like, you know what, it is what it is. We lost the game. I lost the game. I didn't get. It's no one's fault other than my own that I didn't get to make out with her. Right? I didn't win the game. It's
Right.
not like I was just like unfairly, unjustly treated. It was like I was given an equal shot to win the game. I lost the game. They made out. Okay, great. You know that's called the rules of life. And so
But
they're
then-
like, why are you mad on our behalf? Like, how weird is that?
But then when he starts going off about how he feels disrespected because of her and how he's going to pack his bags because I don't know if this is someone I can have a relationship with, I'm like, Braden, I was really trying to be patient. And now I'm like, my guy, how dare you?
Yeah.
Like, Charity, like you said too, number one, this is production. Number two, if it was Charity's idea, she's the Bachelorette. This is the show you signed
It's
up with.
literally the
And the
show.
fact that you're going to try to come for her character, this incredible woman who has been so gracious to all of you. And like you said too, he would have jumped at the opportunity to have the long kiss.
Of course.
And you're going to try to come for her character.
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Hey,
it's just so
hey.
silly.
Great. I'm not happy.
Nah, she's not happy about it.
I'm not happy about it.
It's just very like, it's very school age. Like she gave me a kiss on my cheek on the school playground. And then now she's talking to my friend and I'm pissed. It's just very like, well, you guys don't have a relationship. You guys have had a couple conversations. You kissed once and now all of a sudden like you're jealous of like what's going on. It's like very weird.
Well, and again, too, as we see, this whole thing is talk because he's like, I'm leaving tonight.
Yeah.
My bags are being packed.
And he's like,
and guess what? Guess who's there in the morning? Brandon's there in the morning. Dressed like what he says to be a 70s rock star. He's there in the morning. And then in the morning, he says, my bags are packed. And if our conversation doesn't go well and I don't like what I hear, I'm leaving.
he's trying to flip the script. I'm the Bachelor.
He has become the Bachelor.
He's become the Bachelor.
He's become the Bachelor.
Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Velvet, the Bachelor edition.
And he's still having the whole narrative. Of these guys last night came in with their tails between their legs. And it's this whole alpha vibe. And I'm like, Brayden.
A platoon leader. He's like, these are my guys.
I'm like,
you don't
Brayden,
disrespect my guys like that.
Brayden, you got a little bit upset about a date and said you were going to leave. And your bags are packed. You're still not gone. So.
There's always one of those. I'm leaving. And then they never leave. And they're like, okay.
They never leave.
It's always that.
And the lead's like, please leave so I don't have to send you home.
Like,
It'd be
I'm
great
serious.
for me.
I'll do it.
The lead's like, please go. Because now
Yeah.
then I don't have to have the conversation with you or I have to have this awkward conversation.
And then he totally misrepresents himself with her talking, being like, you know what, I'm just a little uncomfortable about this. And I just kind of felt like I needed a little bit more. It was like not what was actually being told and felt.
Yeah, well, when he sat down with her, he said in his ITMs right before talking to her, he was saying that the kissing situation is very disrespectful. Just like, it's blowing my mind. I'm like, you need to stop.
Yeah.
And like you said, he said something that I don't know if I misheard it.
Yeah, I know.
And again, maybe at this point it will have been talked about, but I felt like I heard him say, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, I really am, but I felt like I heard him say, first of all, I've had a lot of doubt about your character to some degree. But maybe he said, I didn't have a lot of doubt.
Yeah, I couldn't
But
tell.
I replayed it, so I'm not sure. If he did say that, that's wild.
I think the main thing we can take away from that interaction was how amazing Charity is, because she could have freaked out on him for this and be like, I'm the fucking Bachelorette. You can't tell me. I could do whatever I want. But she
had every right to. And if she would have,
Right.
I would have been like, God
That's what I'm
bless.
saying.
God
But I'm
bless.
saying she just said, you know what? I want to validate your feelings. I'm grateful for you telling me how you feel. I want a man who can tell me when they're struggling with something or when they're frustrated. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I was like, even though he misrepresented himself, the misrepresentation was met with like an understanding person.
And again, from her perspective, all she can take away in this situation is how he's representing himself, and then maybe some conversation from the men. But
But the point is even how he represented himself, a lot of leads would have been like, I think you're a little out of line to tell me what I can and cannot do. How can you call that disrespectful? You know what I mean? But the fact that she even said, like, I really appreciate you bringing that up and it means a lot. Like, I was like, dang.
Well, and it's the same way that then she ended up, I mean, ultimately, I know I'm skipping ahead, but ultimately she ended up handling just the Brayden-Adrian situation in general. She literally was in her ITM saying, I have Brayden and I've got these thoughts about Brayden and I've heard some of them from Adrian. But then, you know, I have these feelings about Brayden. So when Adrian's saying, I have two guys who are saying two different things to me, and I have my gut feeling, but at the same time, like, I'm going to hear him out. I'm going to watch and see, because I do like both of these guys. And so I'm going to see what happens. And I love that in a Bachelorette.
I love that again. She just isn't doing the quick. She's not impulsive at all. She's very like, I'm going to get rid of the guys that like I clearly don't have anything with.
Right. And she's like, I have
something with Brayden. I think he's probably really good looking. I think he's fun. He's different. And I will say this to Brayden's credit. He's very different from the rest of the guys.
Yes.
He's very playful. Yeah. He's very kind of funny and charming. Like I could definitely see that he's filling a hole in the group of guys that is not as like there's quite a few serious guys. There's quite a few strong guys, but there isn't a lot of like kind of fun, playful guys.
Yeah.
And he's filling that kind of like charmy, fun, flirty thing.
Yes.
And so I could totally see where she's going to be like, I'm not just going to delete him. I need to see this play out more. And I think it's smart. Maybe he can reconcile some of this bad behavior. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe she sees it, then gets rid of him.
Well,
Whatever it
also,
is,
too,
I like that she's just kind of like, we're too early for me to just cut someone out because I'm not sure what someone said.
But also, to think about this. If she's liking Brayden a little more or Adrian a little more, because they have tension, if you're the Bachelorette and you're seeing there's tension, you're like, a way I can see someone's character is by watching them interact with their enemy,
Yes.
IRL. Not just removing the enemy, but seeing how they're going to handle this. Like, let's see what happens. Because I'm interested in both of these guys. I love it. I love it. But the whole Brayden thing, the way he then said that, again, I don't know 100% when he said it or not, because I'll figure it out by next week. I'm sure there'll be chat on the internet about it. But he completely, the way then he was like, oh, we're all good then, was very different than the energy he was coming at in the ITMs and the way he was discussing with the guy. So I'm just saying, Brayden, respect Charity. And then she had the conversation with Adrian, and Adrian initially apologizes for that spring break comment, saying that I didn't mean for it to be something that's weighing on you. She lets him know she's grateful for it, and she says she wants to know more. She's like, tell me what you meant by that. So listen, I know, and I don't know what the internet's going to feel about this in the conversation, but at the end of the day, and the guys were like, why did you say this? You didn't need to say this. But I'm a little bit like, okay, yeah, sure. He kind of he did put it out there a little bit before, but she did ask him and she wants to know. And so then he shared about Brayden, and he also didn't share about Brayden in a way that's like, Brayden's a bad guy. Don't trust him. He was just kind of like, you know what? I'm the way I am, and he's might be the way he is. And I'm kind of getting this energy from him because he said this. Now, I will say, he mentioned that Brayden said classless, and I went back and watched it, and maybe I missed it, at least on camera. Maybe it was edited.
I'm 99% sure he did.
Really?
Yeah, I remember him being like, it's classless. When she's the classless line, I almost remember.
Okay, I don't.
Photographically.
For some reason, I don't remember that. If he said classless, that's gross.
No, that's what I remember. I remember being like, ooh, too far. That took it far because at first,
the whole thing's not okay.
But at first, I wasn't sure if he was being like annoyed with the fact that the show had done that,
or if then he was directing it.
And then when he said classless, that's when I was like, oh, okay, you're attacking her now.
No, that's an incredibly inappropriate, not acceptable comment.
Yeah, so that was when I went, ooh. Yeah. Now we know what you're talking about, as opposed to, I'm pissed that happened versus she did it.
Got it.
Because then he even said, I don't know if I could be with someone who would do that. So it was like, oh, you're directing it at her, not at the annoyance of the situation, or that you hate the fact that you were put in that position, but it was like a her problem, which is like, oh God, bad move.
It makes me upset. That's Charity. Stop. But then, of course, hearing that, she was not happy.
Yeah.
And then Jesse Palmer went to the men, and he's like, we're not going to have a rose ceremony. Or he said the cocktail party is done. A lot of the men were upset because they did not get time with her. I totally understand. They weren't happy with Brayden, but then they also weren't happy with Adrian either, which again, I get, because then these guys are losing time because he was talking to her. But I don't know. My personal take is, I was like, I don't think he did anything wrong. That's my opinion.
Wrapping this thing, I personally think that for Adrian, this is a very important moment right now.
Yeah.
If he wants to become the guy that she only thinks about in regards to Brayden, he will keep talking. If he needs to stop talking about Brayden now. I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I'm just, for his own good, he'll just become one of those guys that is the Brayden hater. And the reality is the more that he talks about Brayden, the more she's thinking about Brayden, the more that Brayden's storyline is being created in her mind. And she's knowing nothing about him, Adrian, because all they do is talk about Brayden. Adrian needs to start focusing on his relationship with her, not because Brayden doesn't need to be addressed and talked about, but because you'll have spent all this time not talking about your guys' relationship, but building a connection. You will just have been talking about the drama in the house. So then if Brayden leaves, it doesn't mean you're going to be slotted right in. It means that you might be cut too, because she wouldn't have been growing with you. So my opinion, it's like he's starting to get to the point now where even the house guys are getting pissed at him, going like, hey, you're wasting time on Like we all don't like Braden either, but like now I don't get a date with her. Like just, I think we've had enough. And so I think he needs to kind of take that as a cue to be like, okay, I've said my piece. The message has been delivered. It's time to move on. Yeah. Focus on my relationship. Whatever happens with Braden happens with Braden. Let's not let my beef become my storyline with her. That's my that would be my advice. Obviously it's already been filmed, but like that's the thought to me.
Well, yes, I hear what you're saying. Well, she kept both of them.
Right.
She kept both of them now. And as far as Braden goes, I hope when he watches this episode, and probably through conversations that he's going to be having, that he can acknowledge that what he said was completely inappropriate and be able to walk away and acknowledge that.
We'll see.
But also quick before the rose ceremony, just want to shout out, she had a moment with Dotun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Hard eyes with Dotun.
Yeah.
He is one of my top.
Yeah. Dotun's amazing.
Just seems like an incredible guy. He shared his card with her when he came over to the United States when he was young. And his energy is just, if I was Charity, I'd want to be around Dotun all the time. I'd be like, I want Dotun around all the time.
Yeah, I agree. He's got such a calming energy.
He's amazing. So then we end up having the rose ceremony. And of course, Joey and Aaron B already have a rose. She gives her first rose to Dotun, and then Tanner, the wrestler, Warwick, Michael, Sean, Xavier, Aaron S., James, Adrian, and then Braden.
Yes.
And she gave us what we wanted.
Yes.
She gave us what we wanted with that ending. I was shocked. I was like...
I would have been sad if they would have cut Braden, not because he's been acting good at all, but because it's interesting and I want to see what develops. I want to see what happens.
She is giving us Bachelorette energy that I am living for.
I hope that when she was on the show, she even thought like, if Braden was cut in her mind, she's like, let's keep him on though. It'll be fun.
She might have.
You know what I mean? Like,
she might have.
I could see her like in the back of her mind being like, oh, also good TV to keep you on.
Yeah.
Just to like.
Love her. So then who went home? Spencer, John Henry, Josh, and both the other Calebs. And at this point, Braden is in the ITMs and he is going off. And I'm like, this energy is making me more nervous for next episode,
Volatile.
which I'm sure is going to be a wild episode, but my goodness. And he even then takes it upon himself to make the toast. And next week's episode,
and on the toast, he says, thanks for keeping me.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Well, it was a fantastic episode.
It was great. I cannot wait. It's been so good so far. 2 episodes in, absolutely loving it.
It's so good.
Absolutely
and
loving it.
I'm sure I will have more chills. Even more chills next episode.
I'm going to really need to amp up my chill adoration. My God, baby, chills! Just hold you.
All right, should we do a call home before we go? Let's do a call home.
Remember, you can always call home.
Hi, Mom and Dad. Love you both. Love the podcast.
Love you.
So I wanted to share my avoidant behavior with you both.
Oh,
and
yes.
Actually, I think it's a very controversial subject, so I'm interested to see which side of the fence you both are on. But for the longest time, probably honestly like 10 years, I would not fill up my gas tank more than what I needed for like that trip of the day. So I would go and get like $5 worth of gas, $7 worth of gas, and I would go to the gas station like 20 times a week. I was always at the gas station. And one day I was like, how much time am I wasting going to the gas station every day? And it's not like it was time consuming where, I didn't have enough time to fill up my tank. I just didn't want to. Like, it pained me to have to sit there and fill up my tank all the way. But I'm happy to say that I no longer do that. I now sit and fill up my gas tank, and I honestly fill up my tank like once every 2 weeks. So I don't know what the big deal was. But anyways, I'm very curious if y'all are a fill up your tank all the way kind of person, or if you'll just like ride on empty as long as you can. Thanks so much.
My dear, dear family member, I just want to say first and foremost, congratulations on your full tanks. Second, I see you. Okay, I'm looking deep into your eyes at this camera right now. I see you. I did this for so many years. And it is one of those avoidant behaviors I also cannot explain. I would get to the gas station. I hate going to the gas station for some reason. So it wasn't even like, ooh, let's go to the gas station as much as possible.
Yes.
But I would be going all the time. And every time I would put that nozzle in, I would stand there, I'd put it in, I'd tap my foot for like, 45 seconds and be like, okay, that's enough. And I'd put it away. And I would get, 1/5 of a tank.
So why?
I don't know.
You didn't have a thought about it?
No.
Okay.
And it's an unexplainable avoidant behavior, just like the fact that you and I still have not put in
New rings.
And I got some new rings for
So-
us, and we haven't put them in. Why are we avoiding this?
So I will do this as well, but it's only when I've been spending a lot of money in my life. Does that make sense?
Well, that 100% that
So
makes sense when it's a monetary thing.
It's always been a money thing for me.
Because it's so expensive to fill up your tank.
Right, but even away from the affordability of it, it's just the issue of like, I'm going to have to spend the same amount, right? So it's like whether I fill it up now or fill it up throughout the week, you're going to have to spend the same amount. It's just swallowing the like, watching them. And there's no other area that you just watch the money go up. You know, where you're just watching it going, every cent is one less cent in my bank account. So you're just going, and the higher it gets, the more painful it gets.
Oh, it's so brutal.
You know what I mean? And if you have a big car too, that's when it really hurts. If you're like an SUV or a truck or something, and it's just skyrocketing and it's going up and up and up, and you're like, God, no. So lately, I've been like, semi-lately, I've had like times where I've been like, I've been spending a lot of money on bills and things like that. And I'm like, I'll just fill it up halfway. I don't want to see that big old number hit the tank. So I totally feel you. I think it's interesting because it's just like you're seeing the pain, It's like,
yeah.
I
don't even know if I connected with it.
Okay. It was just a patience thing. Like I'm over it.
I don't know. I can't even place it. I was just like, maybe it was this. I hate being here.
Get me out of here.
And I don't want to be here. But then there was this thing of like she was saying, she was going to the gas station so many times per week. And that's what I was doing too, where I'm like, I'm constantly having to find a gas station wherever I am. And then I'm like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's something about when you're at a gas station and there are like, I don't know where you live, dear family member, but in LA, there's always people then who pull up and are waiting for you. And I get anxious and I hate the feeling of someone sitting there waiting for me. And then also because I'm not a good driver, I'm like, how am I going to get out of this without scraping a car? So I guess I would pull up to the nozzle, to the tank and be like, okay, I'm going to do this as quick as I can to leave so that I don't get stuck.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Oh my
It's
God, did I
almost-
just figure out my issue?
Yeah, did you just figure it out? I wonder too, it's kind of like the same personality trait that would like, if you saw that there was a lot of people behind you and there was a open parking spot and it was going to take a couple 3-point turns.
I would never park there.
You just keep going until you find something
I want to be the person that would park there, but I would never park there. Lee, how do you feel at the gas station with the filling up of the tank?
Yeah, what do you fill up
I'm
all the
usually
way?
all the way, but what I'll do with the money thing is like my problem. I feel is I always let it go to empty, and I want to get better at like quarter tank, fill it up. You never know when like
Yeah.
maybe all the gas stations. I feel you about the crowded gas stations though. I always like will
So
keep finding
anxiety-inducing.
keep searching for an open one.
Interesting.
Like, will you then go out of your way to find a gas station?
Yeah.
Yes, 1,000%.
But what I'll do too, because I have an empty tank, it's like, I have my spots that have the cheap gas.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sometimes what I'll
You gotta
do
have
is
your
I'll put
spots.
$5 of expensive gas in my tank and then drive to the cheap spot
Yes,
later.
a cocktail. Yes, a cocktail.
A gas cocktail?
Yes. Hey, that's called a money-saving king.
That is too funny.
Just top it off with a little bit of the good stuff.
It's like a little, you got a little top shelf.
Just like,
a little floater? That's insane.
This is like a once every like 6 months.
I love that. I love that.
just a kiss of the expensive
Oh, that's
stuff.
too funny too. Because it is
You
funny.
let it go to empty.
I do. I generally do. Just because I'm like, yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, I'm not the type of person that just is like that vigilant where they're like, okay, I don't want to get anywhere near dangerous. We got this. One more mile. I can get a little bit like that. Like, I think I can make it. When I do directions and I see that I have 20 miles left on my tank, I'll look and be like, oh, it's 14 to get there. No problem. I got it. And then I'll look for a gas station around there.
I've really gotten bad with getting to empty lately. Yeah.
Well, we feel you. And that's definitely,
see
I would
you.
imagine many people do that.
I feel like this is something that people feel. And like you said, it might be a controversial one where it's definitely like a fold the toilet paper or crumple type question where it's like some people, are like, what? Like filling up a few dollars worth? I get this.
That's a
but it's gonna
crumple
be like
move. That's a crumple move.
And I'm a crumpler.
Yeah, you're a jammer.
It's because my nails.
Oh, understood.
I don't want it. I want them fully covered.
Right.
I want it fully
Oh, that
covered.
makes a lot of sense.
You know
You
what I
don't
mean?
want to claw your butt.
No, I crumple where it goes in around my claws, so then I can, because if I fold, sometimes there's the nail exposure, and
You don't want to cut your
It's gonna
butt.
rip, no.
yeah, or
Yeah.
just get a contamination
Yes.
situation.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Well, we feel you, and I think that we should actually, make anyone feel bad for being responsible. So if you do go get gas in a responsible way, you're a weirdo, and you're out of our club. We love you guys.
We love you so much, and we will see you. Remember, again, we'll see you next week on Wednesday,
Yes.
and then we'll have 2 episodes next week. But see you next week on
Love you
Wednesday.
all.
Have a beautiful rest of the week, and yeah.
Peace and love.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Mwah.
Kisses. Bye.
Bye.